الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين سيدنا ونبينا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه وأزواجه ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. والذين جاهدوا فينا لنهدينهم سبلنا وإن الله لمع المحسنين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, those who struggle for us, we will most certainly guide them to our path. In another ayah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala ordering us to struggle for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and informing us of our responsibility, how much struggle we should put to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He says, وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ. Struggle in the path of Allah. Put effort, struggle in the path of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as much as you are supposed to struggle for Allah. Didn't set no limit. Jahidu fillah, struggle in the path of Allah, for Allah. Haqqa jihadi, as much as you are supposed to struggle for Allah. Which simply means we need to compare the things that we struggle for and what is the most valuable out of these. What is the most important out of these? What is the most beneficial? What is it that we think we must get it because without it we really can't do nothing? And if we start comparing things that we normally struggle for, there can't be anything better than getting the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, Jahidu fillah, struggle for Allah, haqqa jihadi, as much as you are supposed to struggle for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And accordingly, every person would put his effort as much as he feels that he wants the closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Every person, according to his understanding, according to his abilities, will do haqqa jihadi, struggle as much as he is supposed to struggle for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. No one can, of course, do what we are supposed to do for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But at least through our effort we can show that I'm doing my best to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Scholars have always said, a person who does not want to do any mujahada for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, a person who's not willing to offer anything, to sacrifice anything, which means any comfort, any time, any of his luxuries, a person who's not willing to offer any of these sacrifices for Allah, for the pleasure of Allah, there is no way that this person can achieve this thing. This cannot be achieved without showing our willingness to it. And showing willingness will be through our effort and sacrifice that we offer for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the thing that He's offering us as a sign of His pleasure is very valuable, is very great, and that is Jannah. The offer of the Jannah basically is a sign as a pleasure of a pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If we start comparing the things that we buy in this world with the pleasures that people will be taking and getting in Jannah, there is no comparison. And accordingly, if we try to come up with the value of what we are getting in Jannah, there is nothing that we can set as a value of Jannah. That if I pay this much, then I should be getting this. Not even for a single ni'mah, single blessing of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we will get in Jannah. Even if we offer the whole world, every treasure that came and that was created by Allah in this world, we offer it, to pay for one of the blessings that we would be getting in Jannah, there is no way we can pay for it. Simply because the ni'mah of the Jannah is such that will never end. That thing will never end, and everything in this world ends. So how can we compare this with that? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is offering these great things to us as a sign of His pleasure, of His rida. And then in return, what He wants from us is, He knows and He tells us that you can never pay the price. The thing that you're getting from me, there is no way that you can pay the price for it. So what can I do now, Ya Allah? Is it that I will be deprived for it forever, that I can never get to it? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, يُرِيدُ اللَّهُ أَن يُخَفِّفَ عَنْكُمْ. He wants to make it easy for us. So He said, do the best you can. Show me what is the best that you can do. If you prove to me that you really love to have it, and you're doing your best, and with the best you can do, if you put that effort for getting the worldly thing, if you go to a factory and you tell them that I'm suffering and I need some work. Okay, work here for a month and let us see what you can do. After this person puts his best effort according to his abilities for a whole month, they may tell him that you don't even deserve $100 from us. In fact, you really should pay us for wasting so much of our time on you. We wasted so much time on you, trying to teach you, trying to make you understand the work, but after a whole month, still you're ruining up everything. You hurt us more than benefiting us. Don't even expect us to pay you anything. In fact, you should do something to compensate for all the wrongdoings that you have done in during this time. If we look at our a'mal, comparing to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala requires from us, forget about getting any salary from there. It would be that we have to pay something really to make up for all the shortcomings that are there, for all the wrongdoings that we have done, for all the mischief that we have brought to the world. We were not created for these mischief. We were not sent to this world to do all of those things that we have been doing. We may end up doing more harm by being here than doing any benefit. So in reality, forget about expecting any salary for it, getting paid for it. There should be much more that we should be doing in returns just to fix what we have done. But this is the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And He says, put your best effort. Prove to yourself, prove to me that you really love to please me. Now you find a person who is very sick, elderly person. Month of Ramadan, he cannot fast. Time for salah, he cannot even stand up. He cannot do these things. Maybe 50, 60 years of his life he spent doing all the ma'asi, sins, disobedience. After 60 years of his life, he realized this was all wrong. And he started repenting to Allah. But by the time he's repenting to Allah, he's crippled. He cannot move. He doesn't have no abilities that he had earlier when he was committing all of those sins. Now he can't fast, he can't get up for salah. What is it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would tell this person? No, that's it? Your chance is over? No. Jahidu fillahi haqqa jihadi. Now, still, at the same time, at this time, he's receiving the very same order. Struggle as much as you think that you are supposed to struggle for it. Do whatever you can. Now this person is laying down and doing the salah. He comes and asks the scholars, what should I do? I can't fast. They tell him, just feed one person. Pay some sadaqah. So he pays $2 for the fast. If we look at the situation of the person, if this person is really sincere, this is all he can do. He's doing his best. And this is all he can do now. We can see the harm that he has caused and what he's doing now. And whatever he's doing really is, if we look at it, it seems like it's meaningless. It's not done the way it was supposed to be done. But because this person has sincerity, this is all he can do now. And he really would like to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with just this effort that he's putting. As long as he's putting his sincere effort over there, avoiding all the wrongdoings now, the doors of the rahmah are open for him because he's doing haqqa jihadi. He will get what any other person can get who's fasting and doing the salah, standing up and doing long rak'ahs. Whatever that person can get, this person can get the very same thing. He's not going to be deprived of those things. But the point is, he has to prove himself. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, when he immigrated to Medina Munawwara, for those who have studied the seerah, we know that there used to be some disease in Medina Munawwara. Any newcomer into the town, he was affected by the disease. Finally, as a miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that disease went out of Medina to a place called Juhfa. So all the Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in got very sick in the initial days after the Hijrah. In one of these days, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes to the masjid and he sees more than 90% of the people are doing salah sitting down. And some people, subhanallah, the importance of the jama'ah to those Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, some people, they can't even do it sitting down, so they're laying down. At that time, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam made this announcement, that if you perform the salah standing up, you get double the reward than getting the reward, than the reward you would get by doing the salah sitting down. And if you do the salah sitting down, you will get double the reward than you would get by doing the salah laying down. At that time, Sahaba Ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, of course they were sick and it was difficult for them to stand up. Those that were sitting, they used their utmost effort and they got up to do the salah standing up. Those who were not able to sit and they're doing the salah laying down, they forced themselves to sit and do the salah, so that they get double the reward. This is a totally different hadith than the hadith that talk about reward, half reward of nafil. When a person will perform nafil sitting down, will get half of the reward than doing it standing up. Because nafil you cannot do it laying down. This is about fara'id. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told them that this fard salah that you're doing laying down, you're allowed to. In this situation, you're allowed to do it. But he would like to show them that mujahada, struggle. I know that you can't. And now you are in a position where you're allowed not to sit, because you cannot do the salah sitting down. So now from the Sharia point of view, you're allowed. But if you put some effort, you try your best and you sit down and do it, now you're getting double the reward. By sitting down, the reward is not reduced. So there is a person that's standing up, and this person, because he's sick, he's doing the salah sitting down. His reward is not reduced. But now when the person who's sitting down, he puts his effort and he gets up, he gets double the reward than he gets for a normal salah. This was the announcement. What was all of this? Mujahada. Struggle to do something better. I know you're sick, but still do something better than what you're doing now. This is how Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was teaching Sahaba ridwanullahi alayhim ajma'in, this mujahada. The point I was mentioning, we have to prove ourselves. From the Islamic, from the Sharia point of view, we can see ourselves, we are crippled. We are handicapped. We really can't do too much. We go to sujood, after 10 minutes or 15 minutes, the arms are hurting. Back is hurting. In ruku', 10 minutes are too long. It looks like the back is going to break now. We are just totally crippled. But at least we have to prove that we would love to get it. I don't have the price to pay for it. I just have $1. This is all I have. I can't buy no food with it. I go to the store. The sandwich is for $2. But I'm starving. Can you please give me that sandwich for $1? I can't afford to give you $2. The person may be generous. The person may have kindness, mercy in his heart. Out of little mercy that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given him and has given his share from 1% that He has sent to this world. He may have mercy on us and He say, okay, here, keep your $1 and take the sandwich for free. Here, take one more for your family too. This is the kindness of a human being who's getting only his share from 1% of the mercy, of the rahmah that was sent for the whole world from the time of Adam alayhi salatu wasalam till the last human being will come to this world. We are just getting our share from that 1%. But this is when the person sees really he is in need. This is what we are supposed to prove. This is what mujahada means. Prove ourselves that really we would love to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How can I prove? Haqqa jihadi. Struggle as much as you think that you're supposed to struggle to get the pleasure of Allah. How much I should put for that? How much time? How much effort? How much sacrifice? How many things I should sacrifice? What should I sacrifice? What is it that I'm supposed to do? According to the value of it in our mind and according to our understanding. This is jahidu fillahi haqqa jihadi. If we have proven ourselves on the day of judgment, we will go to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will see the records full of wrongdoings. But this person really, after all of this, realized that this was all wrong. I wasn't supposed to do this. Changed his life. Started working towards the pleasure of Allah. In between that, he kept on doing a lot of wrongdoings because as human beings, we have our shortcomings. When he looks at the good deeds, when they are presented before the person on the day of judgment, he sees that this salah, there was no khushu'. In the recitation of Quran, there was no concentration. There was no feeling. There was no understanding. There was no value of these words that were being recited. But this person was doing it to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He did his best. He did whatever he could. Once a person is presented in that situation, inshallah he will make it. Mujahada, struggle. But we need to understand now, what is this mujahada? How to put this effort? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used a very simple word, haqqa jihadi, that is struggle as what you're supposed to. Now, if I just do the faraid and run away, neglecting the sunnahs, neglecting the nawafil, This is haqqa jihadi? Very simple way for us to see how can we really put haqqa jihadi, struggle as much as we are supposed to struggle. Our dunya that we have collected up to this time will help us inshallah. This dunya that we have collected will help us inshallah. And it should and it will inshallah, if we have the intention and sincerity, this dunya that we have collected, it will help us put haqqa jihadi for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How? Not to avoid working anymore. It's not to just give up all the work and everything else. All we need to do is start counting how many pairs of dress do we have. Say we have 10. How many do we really need? If we start looking at the things that we have gathered, how many pairs of shoes we have? How many pairs of socks we have? MashaAllah, as soon as the weather changed, everyone has some nice sweaters, jackets, everything, MashaAllah, and we had to go and look at the closet and choose which one to wear out of these. So in addition to our need, we have collected a lot of things. We go and open the fridge. How much food we have? How much do we really need? These things should teach us that if I'm keeping 10 pairs of shoes, whereas I need only one, so with the fard, how much extra nawafil I must do? If I'm used to having so much extras in my life, that is proven at now. I have proven to myself and to everyone that when it comes to extras, being on the safe side, this is my way of life. That I need 3 pairs of clothing every week. If I have just 3, it's enough for me to wash one after one, and then I won't be suffering. But I'm keeping 10 or 15. This tells me how much extra I like to keep. This is my safe side. With all the pairs of shoes that I have, that tells me that how many extras I like to keep. Now, let's come to the deeds, to the list of the a'mal. We did the fara'id. And sunan mu'akkada we must do. There is sin for not doing it. Okay, we did the fara'id and sunan mu'akkada. Let's take this past whole year, from last Ramadan up to this Ramadan. How many days do we think we completed all the rak'ahs of the fara'id and the sunnahs, and then we did, for that day, we did more rak'ahs than the amount of the fara'id and the sunnahs? More nafil than the fard and the sunnahs, to keep extras for the day. Okay, we didn't do more. How many extra rak'ahs did we do per day? If we now take the whole year and take out a percentage of the extra rak'ahs that we have performed throughout the year, how many extra rak'ahs will come per day? And I'm sure we all know these calculations. We know how much we will be in minus. That forget about the nawafil, so many days we miss the sunnahs too. Sometime we did the sunnah of Fajr after sunrise, sometime we did the sunnah of Zuhr after Salatul Zuhr. How many times we missed the sunnahs of Ishas because we were tired? So it's all going in minus when it comes to the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When it comes to our worldly gain, it's all bonuses over there. So many extras over there. This tells us if we are really falling into the category of وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِهِ or not. This is to look at ourselves. This is the situation of salah that we may be doing the most out of all the other ones. When it comes to the other things, fasting, recitation of Quran, istighfar, how many sins we have committed, how much istighfar we have done. If there is a list made of the sins, how many sins the person committed throughout the year, how much istighfar did he do during the year, it will be in minus. This tells us what does وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِ means. We can understand it now, how to apply it on our lives. And this is what's required from us, that we must show that we really want it. We have shown the world that I really wanted a house, I got it. I wanted this type of furniture in my house, I got it. I worked right and left, I struggled, I did everything until the day I got it. I never had peace until the day when I got it. Now I got what I wanted. So what is the situation with the deen? Did we get as much as we wanted and this is why we are resting at peace? Or we had no importance for it, this is why we kept it at the last thing in the list? Then let me do everything else and then I will think about this. The main thing is, وَجَاهِدُوا فِي اللَّهِ حَقَّ جِهَادِ. We never applied this. We never struggled for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We never showed that really I want it, I'm working hard for it. Ya Allah, I'm working so hard. Now again I made a mistake. Okay? Come back to Allah. Ya Allah, now again I'm working so hard. The person is working hard and hard and hard. And all of a sudden he falls into sin. And again he comes out. No, Ya Allah, that was my mistake. And let me keep on working. And the person keeps on working. This is the life of a mu'min. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in a hadith, Al-mu'minu yamutu bi'araqil jabeen. When a mu'min dies, there is still sweat on his forehead. What does it mean? Which means, throughout his life, this person was struggling for the deen of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Haqqa jihadi. He was putting his utmost effort, and until the last minutes of his life, he was struggling to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He never gave it up. Now we can understand the application of the hadith where Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says a person commits sin 70 times a day, not in a life. 70 times a day, each time he commits a sin, he comes back to Allah. Ya Allah, please forgive me. Adnabtu faghfir li. I have made this mistake, please forgive me. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says right away he gets the forgiveness. This is because he's in a continuous struggle. And he falls off, right away he comes out. Ya Allah, please, that was my mistake. Please forgive me, Ya Allah. I didn't really want to do this. I didn't want to be into this situation. I made a mistake. He comes out and again he's back into the same struggle. It's not that, oh yeah, I committed a sin. Ya Allah, forgive me. But the person knows that after a few minutes he's going back to it. Haqqa jihad. As much as we are supposed to struggle for the deen of Allah. What are we going to achieve through this struggle? As I said, by this struggle we will prove ourselves that we really are looking forward to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We don't have the price to pay for it, but we love to have it. I love to get the pleasure of Allah. Ya Allah, I'm struggling. I'm doing my best. Ya Allah, you know that with all that it's worth, I can never bring that. All I have is a penny. Ya Allah, I can bring this penny. Ya Allah, just please give me that with the penny because I can't do nothing. You see how much struggle I put to even get this penny. I put my whole life and all I could bring is this one penny. But you see, Ya Allah, that I worked throughout my life. This is showing that we are looking to it. And we want it. And we struggled for it. We worked for it. And we have proven ourselves. But when a person puts the mujahada, he puts the struggle, always remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala opens the doors too. It's not that this person will keep on struggling and struggling and struggling, and at the end, this person is not able to do anything. No, this person will be able to do a lot. Because Mujahada, the effect of the Mujahada is, effect of this struggle is, that the person will be having control over his nafs, over his desires. This is the effect of the struggle. And as I mentioned yesterday, that even when kuffar, those who have no iman, when they struggle, when they do mujahada, they reduce the amount of food, amount of rest, amount of talking. There are people who did a lot of mujahada. Through that, they can do very strange things. They can do a lot of things by this mujahada. Because now the ruh got strong. The ruh is in power. The ruh is the one that rules. And when the ruh rules, the person would, through his ruh, can do strange things that normally with physical bodies, we cannot do. So we'll see those people doing some very strange things, but they are kuffar. Remember, with all the struggle that kafir has put, and he is able to achieve what he wanted, and that was he's doing some amazing things, strange things. The difference is, when a mu'min is doing all of this mujahada and he is struggling, he is not doing it to get anything in return in this world. The person is doing it only, the mu'min is doing it only for the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So for a kafir, even when he's doing the mujahada, that mujahada is for his own nafs, to get something in return. For a mu'min, is not for his nafs, is only to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no other reason behind it, and there is nothing else, no other expectations behind it. It's only that the person is doing all of this for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what we see Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mentioning in this beautiful dua. When he went to Ta'if, and he was tortured so badly, and finally he bled so much that he fainted. He gets up and he makes the dua. And portion of the dua was, إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ بِكَ عَلَيَّ غَضَبٌ فَلَا أُبَالِي. Ya Allah, I'm doing my best. Ya Allah, this is all I could do. As long as you are not upset with me, then I don't mind going through this. It's not, Ya Allah, I did so much. I'm a prophet. You promised me miracles and all of this. And now see what these people have done to me. And you never helped me. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ. No. إِن لَمْ يَكُنْ بِكَ عَلَيَّ غَضَبٌ فَلَا أُبَالِي. As long as you are not upset with me, then I don't mind going through this. This is all fine as long as you are happy. Ya Allah, I just want to know from you that at this time, all of that what I went through, it wasn't because you were angry. Just tell me that you are happy. That's it. That's all I want to know. This is why one of the scholars says, he used to say, that people run away from hisab. But I don't mind going through the hisab. So someone asked him, how dare you can say this? You don't mind going through the hisab? He says, when I would go through the hisab, I'm expecting that during the hisab Allah will tell me, Ya Abdi, oh my servant, you did this. I just want to hear that word from Allah telling me, Ya Abdi, oh my servant. Then He can do whatever He wants to me. Love. They really wanted it. Sabit al-Bunani rahmatullahi alayhi, he used to make dua, Ya Allah, if you have allowed anyone to do salah in his grave, then allow me to do it. After he passed away, they buried him. They're throwing the dust, and they saw him, he got up and started doing the salah. They're still throwing the dust on him. And after that, for a long time, they used to hear the recitation of Quran from his grave. The student of Sayyidina Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu. Subhanallah. Once we know this, then we can understand the level of those people. that if he is the student of Khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and he got this from the Khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Anas radiyallahu anhu, normally he used to keep some perfume on his hand all the time. And he used to say, because I always keep my hand perfumed for Thabit, because whenever Thabit comes, he wants to kiss my hand. Thabit radiyallahu anhu, whenever he would see Anas radiyallahu anhu, he would always kiss the hands of Anas radiyallahu anhu, saying, these are the hands that have touched Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. I must kiss them. Subhanallah, if this is the level of the student of Khadim of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, what will be the level of his teacher, that is Anas ibn Malik radiyallahu anhu, and what would be the level of his teacher, Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. All of this through struggle, through mujahada. They proved themselves. When they proved themselves, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave it to them. And He showed the people. There could have been some delay until they bury him and everything, and then he will get up and do the salah. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted to show the people. This is what He wanted. He proved He wants this. He proved He loved me. He proved that He loves salah. Here, I am giving it to him right there. You see it with your own eyes. The pleasure of Allah. For the pleasure of Allah, we must show our effort and our willingness to get it. There is no other price we can pay for it. No price. There is no way we can come up with the price to pay for it. So if there is any way we can get it, is just proving our weakness by showing that this is, I did my best. I did my best. I'm doing it. Ya Allah, you can see I'm doing it. You know, when the child is learning how to walk, you keep the child a few feet away from you. And then you ask the child, come, come, come. And the child comes and then is about to fall, and you run and grab the child. You know he can't walk anymore. That's it. This is our situation. But if the child is sitting there, you may get upset. Get up, walk, walk, walk. But when he walks and now he's about to fall, you run and grab the child. He showed his effort. This is the same thing. If we just run, if we just show that here I'm willing, I'm trying, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will take us in His rahmah. We will get the rahmah and the pleasure of Allah. So this is what mujahada means. That we come up with all the extras, put utmost effort, do everything we can to prove, Ya Allah, I know I can't pay the price, but you can see, Ya Allah, I'm doing my best. Ya Allah, even now I'm trying. And next moment I will be trying. And Ya Allah, I'll keep on trying. And you see, Ya Allah, my effort. Oh, I'm sorry, Ya Allah, I made this mistake. I'm coming back to you, Ya Allah. Please forgive me. And again, he's struggling. So struggle upon struggle. This is what the word mujahada means. The word mujahada, according to Arabic language, doesn't mean struggle. We normally just say the struggle. But really mujahada doesn't mean struggle according to the Arabic language. In Arabic language, when you translate mujahada, it means ضَمُّ جُهْدٍ إِلَى جُهْدٍ, which means adding a struggle to another struggle. This is what the word mujahada means in Arabic language. ضَمُّ جُهْدٍ إِلَى جُهْدٍ, adding some struggle to the struggle, which means continuously putting some struggle there. This is what mujahada means. Continuous mujahada, continuous struggle, until al-mu'minu yamutu bi'araq al-jabin, when the person dies there is sweat on his forehead, which means has proven himself work till the end. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to put as much effort as we can, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to put whatever effort He has given us to prove our willingness to get the pleasure of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and get the Jannah from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, get the rahmah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept all of us. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين والمسلمات وآخر دعوانا الحمد لله رب العالمين.